Alright, what is good? What a good. This is DailyXander number 63, part 2, nightcap of the normal nightly routine now of walking back to my apartment at nighttime, spitting out, dishing out my thoughts, my happenings, and what I can say is during my time when I went to go inside Whole Foods to use the bathroom, I got stopped by a gentleman who asked, is it getting cold out there? Referring to, is it getting cold temperature-wise here in Orlando as far as at nighttime? And then I replied, well, it depends on your perception or definition of cold around here. And then he kind of just looked at me in a funky way, and I alluded to it. It all kind of depends as far as what is cold to you. And what kind of transpired was me telling him that I'm from Alaska, and that kind of got the whole conversation started. And then he kind of went off talking about, because this area is surrounded pretty close to both eastern and western shoreline of some bodies of water, and the humidity, it's a different type of cold. And I definitely agree with him, but I kind of just also injected that depending on kind of where you live, environment-wise, your body just kind of becomes adapted to the weather there. So, so when there's at least a shift in temperature-wise that you're kind of not used to based off of the environment you're in, you're definitely gonna perceive it in that current environment you're in differently than if you were in another different environment in comparison. So like for me, being from Alaska, yes, I've been exposed to some cold weather in my lifetime, but since then, kind of just moving around as far as in Arizona, in Australia, and being in some pretty warm weather for most of the time, I've gotten used to much warmer weather than I would experience most of the year in Alaska. And so when it gets in the 50s now, at least for me, I definitely notice my body gets cold relatively fast in it. My hands get pretty cold, so my body's gotten acclimated to temperature in the 70s to 90 degree range. And then I would say low 60s to 50s, I start to notice my body gets a bit chilled from it. So definitely human beings are very adaptable, especially when it comes to environments, find ways to survive. But for me, and for I'm sure a lot of people, living in a warm environment and then going somewhere cold, your whole perception and definition of what's warm and cold will change based off of what you're used to, and that's definitely what I found. Anyways, to get back to the guy I met, he went off in a lot of variety of tangents. I ended up talking to him probably for like a good solid 20 minutes or so. I mean, I just literally went to go use the bathroom, and I got stopped prior to going into the hallway that leads to the bathroom. And the whole conversation as far as, is it getting cold out there, that question kind of sparked a whole conversation with him. And I before I even kind of go into more details of what he talked about, I would have to say that I'm sure there would be a lot of people turned off by some of the ideas he talked about. But who I am, I'm a person that likes to listen and at least learn, and I take active listening skills into account, and I'm a person that's obviously going to be selective as far as what I agree and disagree with somebody about, but I'm not going to go to the extent of in their face disagreeing and stating that. I'm just a curious person, and I'm always curious to see how people perceive and go about life. And this man kind of went over a broad range of different topics, and I definitely found it interesting as far as what he was throwing out there. But yeah, it kind of went all over the place as far as a good portion of it being corruption in today's society, and with the U.S. and stuff like that. And we got onto topics such as the dinar, which is the currency in Iraq, and talking about the oil companies up in Alaska, because he was actually familiar with Alaska, because when I told him I was from Alaska, that sparked a whole story with him, talking about a pastor he knew up in Alaska that would have insight to the elites that ran the gas companies up on the north slopes of Alaska. But yeah, I definitely say I enjoy talking to people, so I'm not gonna go into more depth with it. But it was pretty funny. While I was listening to him, I was thinking in the back of my mind, like, oh, this guy would actually be kind of interesting to just take audio of the conversation we had as far as like a podcast goes. So we'll see if I run into him again. He said he's kind of around the area, so he moseys around Whole Foods every now and then. So we shall see. Anyways, I got to do some more notes for a couple of the sessions I partaken in with clients at my work. So when I get back to the apartment, I'm going to do that. And I'm definitely actually feeling pretty cold right now, and that might be attributed to the ice from the iced coffee that I've had, and probably dipping down to low 60s. Listen to me, I'm getting cold from the low 60s, like I said. The whole body temperature and core getting adapted to the environment I'm in. What can I say? Productive session also today. Got all my videos uploaded, got caught up there. And this, again, the whole process of me doing video entries is just for me to have a goal, a year-long goal, uploading and taking video footage, being adaptable with how I do it. Right now, I'm low scale, low key with it, where I'm just filming off my phone, storing the footage on my phone, uploading it from my phone onto YouTube through the use of iMovie app on my phone. Real easy going, very basic, and that's what's working for me right now. I'm sure over time, if I continue doing this, I'll evolve it even more and maybe upscale it just slightly a little bit as time increases and become more efficient with how I operate this whole process. I've also noticed taking breaks too, as far as the duration when I film to when I film next. So when I think about when I did DailyXander number 61, 62, I mean my videos were much shorter than they have been in the past couple or several series of Daily Z's. And just going from starting my DailyXander 63 part 1, I had a lot to say and kind of go with, so I'm sure there's a lot to be said about just kind of doing more thinking, not having to spew out thoughts consistently on a consistent basis. I wonder, probably not, but I don't know if you probably can't see those stars at all. I'm showing the camera up to the sky right now. I can see stars right now, and that's pretty cool actually, now that I think about it, because I'm obviously in the city. There's a fair amount of light pollution, but I mean I can still see the stars. When I was out in the countryside over the weekend at one of the clients' houses, they are definitely, there's no light pollution, so you can see the stars really clearly. And I mean, that was pretty evident with the fireworks that I saw. Yeah, also going back to sort of what I'm trying to explain my idea-wise with longer duration, not sharing my ideas, a lot of ideas, I guess kind of taking a break from it slightly, It kind of allows me to come back with a fresh approach or a different angle on how I think of my thoughts. And I would attribute that to partially because I got busy, and also I slept like a long period of time. But also I don't remember the details, but I know somewhere, and I heard from a podcast, they do, there's therapy out there, and it might be like more of a rehab kind of treatment for certain substances or something like that, but they'll practice not talking for like an entire day or two. Maybe it might be like a meditative retreat, I want to say. It's out there. I don't remember the details off the top of my head, but I just remember this one person was talking about he went to like this retreat, or it might have been therapy. Regardless, it had him in the program going an entire day or maybe several days without talking at all. And that in itself is actually pretty extremely hard to do. And by doing this activity, it actually allows you to get really in touch with your thoughts in your mind. And when you take away things that can distract you from your own thoughts, it really allows yourself to analyze yourself and just become more, going back to what I talk about a lot, self-awareness. So I'm going to end whatever angle or direction I'm going with these thoughts on that note, because I'm at my final destination, as you can see in the background. And yeah, not exactly sure where I was going with all those thoughts tonight, but that's okay. That's why I am doing this practice, and I will continue to do this practice. So with all that said, I bid you adieu, good night, and peace, love, unity, and respect. I will catch you in the next installment with hopefully better hair. Ciao, thank you for watching, and have a nice night.